that's logging in. Most all of you are here locally, so we just wanted to let you know we're running a couple of minutes late. We're going to get started here in about 2 minutes, so just sit tight. But tonight's presentation is going to be about between 30 and 40 minutes long. You're going to get to hear everything about alkalizing water and the different ways that it can improve your quality of life. So again, thanks to all of you for coming, and those of you that are logged in. We'll get started here in about 2 minutes. So sit tight and we'll be right back with you. Thanks. In other words, as soon as she gets done. Have you ever been to first? Yeah. Now the pressure's on.
I know.
I've got to be good now. We're glad you came. I know, right? That's what it's How are you? Ready? Yeah, okay. All right. Welcome everybody to our Wednesday night health and hydration presentation. My name is Shan Stratton, as owner of the Kangen Water Store AZ, right here in your neighborhood. I know you logged in from around the community here, anywhere from Mesa, Tempe, Chandler, Phoenix, Scottsdale, Gilbert. We'd like to welcome you. And this presentation tonight is really mostly for all of you that are logging in, so that, because we know there's a lot of you that just can't quite get down here because of whatever the case may be. So we hope that we're able to provide you with some information that you're looking for. Those of you that are here in person, we thank you for your support. We thank you for coming and letting us share our story. And you're going to get to hear a very special story from a good friend of mine tonight, here in just a little bit. A gentleman that has struggled with an autoimmune disease, Lyme disease, for a long period of time, and has found some really amazing results using alkalizing water and doing some things in his life. So you're going to get to hear about that. But let me first of all start and give you a little bit of background on our facility right here. We're right here in Mesa, Arizona. We really opened this store as a family store. My wife and my 3 children, we opened this so that we could really provide a location for people to come and learn all about alkalizing water, how to improve their quality of life through the water that we drink. And it's very simple when you think about what's the largest component of our body. It's water. But very seldom do we put a lot of emphasis on what are we drinking compared to what are we eating. Almost everything is diet related. Count your calories, don't count your calories, high fat, low protein, high protein, lots of carbs, low carbs, eat carbs in the morning but not at night. That's the focus in almost every case when we talk about health or weight loss or weight gain for that matter. Tonight you're going to get to hear a little different perspective. As a nutritional consultant, I've been in this industry for over 20 years. I've had the great fortune of working with some of the greatest athletes and athletic organizations. I'll share some pictures with you in a minute. But first and foremost, I want you to understand that right here in Mesa, we are providing this location and all of our technology and our water machines for people to come in right here and get 2 weeks free of charge, all of the alkalizing water that they can drink. That's what we are doing to try and provide people with that opportunity, because we believe that within the first couple of weeks, you're going to see a change in your health that allows you to make a more solid commitment and a decision for your future, your health, your family, and your friends. I never do any presentation without publicly thanking my wife and my children. Been very fortunate, wife of 24 years. The love of my life, the most amazing person in the world, and she and I together have been able to raise 3 children. That this facility is all of us coming together and providing for the community a place to come and learn, whether it be online or whether it be in person. So we'll continue to do these presentations throughout the weeks, months, and years to come. I've been doing this for over 24 years, as I said, have had the opportunity of speaking in multiple different states, countries around the world. And so to be able to come right back here to our own hometown, it's something that is really a dream of our whole family. And we've got our family members here tonight. Cayman, my oldest son, runs the store here almost exclusively. Shandy, my daughter, she comes in and out and supports and helps in every aspect of the business. And our youngest son, he's going to school, but he's in and out as well. So again, it is a family approach to improving the quality of life for people. Family is everything to us. It's something that we have always focused on, we'll continue to focus on. And if we can help people find that quality of life and provide that to their family members, because there's really no one else in most of our lives that are more important to us than our family. And when you see a family member struggling, you want to have the answers, and hopefully we can provide some of those tonight. It's very important that people understand our mission statement. As a family and as a store and as a company, our mission is to enhance and enrich that quality of life for millions of people worldwide. Millions of people worldwide, by providing the products, the services, and the education. And that's exactly why we're doing what we are tonight, providing that education that allows people to live a more alkalizing, healthful lifestyle. That's what our mission is all about. That's why we do what we do. And that's why we opened this center right here in your community. I know all of you that are signed on tonight specifically are right here within our community, and we want to make sure that you understand. We'd love to have you come down, learn, let us give you information, and get 2 weeks of free alkalizing water, all you can drink, because you will notice a difference. Now, with a mission statement like this, when we talk about touching the lives of millions of people, we cannot do it alone. I've traveled to other countries, including China, Malaysia, Singapore. I've spoken in front of the American Medical Association, the Chiropractic Associations. I've worked with some of the greatest organizations out there, but it always comes right back to home. And I'll tell you, one of the things that hit home to me was when I had the opportunity of meeting this next gentleman that I want to hear from, and his story of how our water and some of the other things that he has done has really provided him some relief from that autoimmune disease, Lyme disease, as many of you, especially those that are logging on, understand how debilitating and challenging that can be. So I'd like to introduce everybody to someone that has become, quite honestly, a hero of mine, someone that has become very involved in the store and in our marketing efforts and sharing. And his name is Jeff Sharp, somebody that really you're going to hear more and more from. But his story is really powerful. So, Jeff, if you just take a few minutes and share your story with everybody, and then we'll do the demonstration.
Absolutely, I appreciate it, Gene. Thank you very much. Thank you. My name is Jeff Sharp. Many of you know me on Facebook as Lyme Dad, and I don't show up on the Facebook page too often, but I have 3 little critters that do. Hey, Brody, come here real quick. Bring her right here. Coco. Now, these are the faces you guys are all used to seeing on Facebook, so I'm going to show them. Don't shy. Is everybody online? So these guys look a little more familiar, I'm sure. Okay, go sit down. We rehearse that like that. So my story with Lyme disease is very similar to most that have fought a heart disease, whether it's with autoimmune, cancer, Lyme. There's so many different illnesses out there right now that are very confusing and very lonely to go through. The Lyme took a lot from me, almost everything. It made me realize what's important and what's not. I'm an entrepreneur. I've spent a lot of time building businesses. I've had a couple successful projects, I would call. But it always came to a point where I would crash physically. And over the last 15 to 20 years, I've looked at my medical history and realized something has to be wrong. But at the same time, every time I would go in for something, whether it was problems with my eyes, I lost the majority of my vision at one point, or whether it was the ability to concentrate, my Lyme actually spread to the brain, so I had problems with functionality in the brain. And I dealt with just crushing pain for over a decade that no doctors could seem to identify, short of, yeah, you've got a spinal injury and you need surgery. But I never did quite feel like that was right for me, because they were never certain of the answers the way I felt. So I spent a lot of time diving in, trying to understand what exactly might be wrong. Eventually, for me, the answer came out as Lyme disease. There's quite a few other diseases that are just as confusing. I was misdiagnosed for over 20 years. There's a lot of diseases that are just as confusing. I hear stories like this every single day. I'm not unique. It's a challenge to just get the diagnosis to begin with many times in order to get on the path to becoming well. Then once you get the diagnosis, you have to make some decisions. You've got to decide how much you want to just trust what's put in front of you versus how much you want to explore and understand what the differences are. So one of the things I wanted to do was go back to the basics. You see, I'd tried pretty much all of the medications they'd given me. I was addicted to opioids, the hardest kind, antidepressants. Xanax was my very, very good friend. I probably would have popped 3 of them by the time this conversation would be over. But I'm standing here right now. I don't have to deal with any of the medications or the problems that have come from them for me, because it did develop this very severe addiction. And the reason it developed a severe addiction is because it was masking the problems that I had, which ended up being an autoimmune. So I went back to the basics. I decided the medication wasn't for me. I wanted to dive in as deep as I could, figure out what are the basics. Why do I not feel well? Why have I felt well other periods of my life, but I don't feel well now? And one of the things I really came back to was water. And it was about 6 months ago I came in and saw Cayman, who you guys hopefully will meet. And I started drinking the water for about a month. Started the alkalizing water, and it's different than alkaline water. And Shan, fortunately, is here to explain all those differences. But I spent about a month drinking it, and then I took a 2-week vacation with my boys. So first of all, it says a lot. The fact that I was able to take 3 boys that you just saw on a vacation camping for 2 weeks across multiple states and multiple hot springs, that alone was a miracle. But something else that I learned very quickly within that 2 weeks is I was going downhill. And yeah, a lot of that had to do with trying to take my 3 kids camping, but most of it had to do with the water. So I came back. The first place I came back to was this store. I needed the water. It made a difference with all of the different things that I've tried to get over the illness, and I've fought hard for a couple of years. This is my first month back to work in 2 years. Just to give you an idea of the battle that I fought just to get here. And there's a reason I'm here. There's a reason I'm here. The water does work. I've seen a lot of problems. I've seen a lot of misdiagnosis, a lot of miscommunication, misinformation. And it's just terrifying to be in the world of sickness with so much going on that you have to filter through when you don't feel like filtering through it. So this is something I can get behind for anybody, because the right water, it heals unconditionally. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here with Shan and the family, and I want to push, get as many people in the community, which they've done, he already touched on it, but they've done a phenomenal job of building a community around wellness here. Yeah, we work with water, but the idea is here that as a community, we can become well. And it starts just here at the store. They opened up the store. The family has made it available to support groups at no charge. They've just really gone out on a limb to bring this kind of wellness through what we know as water. And so I'm very happy to be a part of it. I think that's all I have for now, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you. I appreciate it. Glad you're here. It's been fun watching that journey, watching you improve. And as you've improved, you spent more time here at the store, so that even made it better for us all.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Y'all need to come down here and check him out. Spend some time with him, ask him some questions. Again, I know that many of you have signed online because you couldn't make it in tonight physically, and we are very much aware of the pain or the challenges that you may or may not be having. So we're glad that you're able to make it. We want to make sure that tonight we give you some information that's important for you and then allows you to make a decision. I want to reiterate, first of all, in the notes down below, we'll make sure that you have all of our contact information, the store's address, because again, we want everybody to have 2 weeks free trial, all the alkalizing water that you can drink. Now, some of you may be saying, why do you keep saying alkalizing instead of alkaline? Because we hear alkaline water all the time. Folks, alkaline water and alkalizing water are two completely different things. Anybody, any company can make alkaline water. The waters that are sold on the store shelves are alkaline waters. Our water is alkalizing, and I'm going to share the difference with you in a few minutes. But to help you understand the credibility, the power of the message that I am sharing, I want to share just a few of the individuals, organizations that I've had the honor of working with and for over a period of many, many years. And I don't say this to say, look what I've done. I share this because I want you to understand the power of the message that I am sharing with you. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with the message that you're going to hear tonight. Some of the individual athletes or organizations, from the LA Dodgers to the Mariners to the Cubs, individual athletes, from Bridget Jackson to Yogi Berra on down. I want to go right through those and just show you that list of so many of the different individuals and organizations that are professional athletes that make a living off of making sure that their body is functioning at peak performance and peak levels. And again, has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with me. It's the message that I will be sharing with you here tonight. So let me get through these. Now, with that, I want you to also understand that there is no miracle cure. There is no one thing that is going to make everybody healthy or well or anything else. But there are a few pieces to the puzzle that we see in our society that are missing. There's not enough emphasis put on the waters that we drink. But yet everything is focused on the food that we consume, which is important. As a nutritionist and owning a nutrition company, it's easy for me to say, hey, on your diet, I can take care of it. We can improve this, we can improve that. But I have to be honest, after 24 years, I've realized the past several years that I missed the target, the main focus, which is the largest component of our body, which is the water. So far, the only real focus we've had on the water that we consume is whether or not it's filtered or not. That's really the only focus so far. Is my water clean and pure and filtered, or is it tap water? That's kind of what it has got. I remember when I was a kid, everybody drank tap water. But then all of a sudden, tap water was bad, so everybody started drinking bottled water, which was a big step. But just because the water is clean does not mean that it's the same water that we were intended to fill the 80% of our body up with. That's what I want to share with you tonight. So with that being said, let's start out with a couple of things here. You're going to hear a lot of different things when you start hearing about Kangen water or alkaline water. Okay, you hear people refer to it as electrically reduced water. You'll hear references to it as alkaline water. As I said, I'm going to share with you the difference. You're going to hear references to it as antioxidant-rich water. You're going to hear references to it as hydrogen-enriched water. There's a lot of different things. I like to just reference it as nature's water. When we look back in nature, back in time, go back to the very basics, it's very easy to find that water in its natural source, natural form, is supposed to be rich in antioxidants. No bottled waters are. And they're also supposed to be actively alkalizing. None of the bottled waters are. That's what I'm going to show you right here. So when I refer to nature's water, I want you to understand that I'm going to share something with you that as simple as turning the faucet on, we get water that comes out of this machine that comes through your city water, runs through a filter, runs through plates of titanium, and comes out in a form that is active. It's an active form of hydrogen, it's an active form of alkalinization, and it's an antioxidant-rich form. That is going back to nature. So with that said, let's take a look at a demonstration so that I can show you that. Let me pass a couple of these. Let's get right to it. When we talked about the human body being mostly water, okay? When we are children, when a child is born, a lot of times people don't realize that a child's body at birth is over 90% water. But yet, the vast majority of people that die past the age of 70 is down below 70% water. Dehydration is a process that takes place, but it doesn't necessarily have to. The more we can stay hydrated, the better our health will be, especially if we're doing it with a water that is alkalizing, and that's what our technology is right there. Just like I showed you here. Lift of a lever, twist of a knob, we have access to antioxidant-rich, alkalizing form of water. So there are three properties we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about antioxidants, we're going to talk about alkalizing, and we're going to talk about what I refer to as microclustering. That's not a scientific word, it's literally just a description of what we can do when we run electricity through water. So let's start out with oxidation. First of all, when you think about oxidation, I bet most of you, your first thought that comes to your mind is things like rust, deterioration. Well, oxidation comes from things like pollution, electromagnetic fields. Okay, do you think pollution is going to get better or worse? It's going to get worse. Do we think that the EMFs, electromagnetic fields that come from cell phones, microwaves, TVs, are there going to be more of them or less? More. So these are challenges that we're going to continue to get more and more and more of. So it stands to reason that we're going to have more oxidation, physical and emotional stress, chemicals, toxins, bad fat intake. There are all kinds of things that cause an oxidative process. Doctors nowadays, medical doctors, even health, even all different kinds of doctors, they are starting to say that oxidative stress is the silent killer. Things that cause oxidation to our bodies, such as electromagnetic fields, cell phones, microwaves, TVs, emotional stress, physical stress, those are silent killers that none of us know about a lot of times. So we need antioxidants, the opposite of oxidation, antioxidants to negate that or reverse that. How many of you have taken an antioxidant in the form of a pill or a juice, or maybe taken and consumed orange juice because you knew it was high in antioxidants as opposed to a sugary drink? We've all thought about those things. How do I get more antioxidants in my body? More fruits, more vegetables, things like that. Well, a lot of times people don't realize that all of these antioxidants that come from these foods that we eat can only be activated in the body and utilized efficiently and effectively with an active form of hydrogen. Our technology creates and provides an active form of hydrogen so that the antioxidants we consume are more fully utilized. Now, to give you an idea, there is what's called an ORP chart. ORP stands for oxidation reduction potential, which means absolutely nothing other than the higher the potential to reduce that oxidative process. The more antioxidants you consume, the better potential to reduce that oxidation that doctors are saying are silent killers. So when we look at on this chart, the liquids that we consume, anything on the positive side is oxidizing, causing the body to deteriorate. The last thing you want going on in the body is deterioration or oxidation. Again, silent killer. We want anti or negative. Anything on the negative side is how active we can, or actively we can reduce that oxidative process. This can all be measured with a technology that's very simple to use. You put it in the water and you can see, but just for the ease of discussion, anything over here is positive. So bottled water is actually oxidizing to the body. Have you ever thought about the fact that the bottled water you're drinking, even if it's clean and pure and filtered, is causing an active deterioration of our tissue sites? That's mind-boggling. That's horrible. We should never have to do that. But is it better than the tap water? Yeah, because tap water is a negative 200. Tap water is about 180 or 200 positive. Bottled water is only 100, so it's a little bit better than tap water, but it is still oxidizing to the body. Sports drinks are even more oxidizing, and sodas are extremely oxidizing. It speeds up the process of deterioration. Negative side, anything down here, so things like vitamin C from orange juice, it is a negative 60. Green tea. I know a lot of people, I spent years in China, Japan, Malaysia, Singapore. They drink green tea all the time because of its antioxidant capabilities, and it's a negative about 150. So it is antioxidant. It reduces that oxidative process, cod liver oil, things like that. Well, cut right to the chase. Our technology, the water that I'm going to show you, has a measure. It's about a negative 600. So it's much more actively antioxidizing than any of the other antioxidants that you may be trying to consume, especially more so than what we're filling the largest component of our body with. Think about it. If your body, 80%, 75% of your body is full of bottled water, sports drinks, and sodas, you are going to have a higher rate of deterioration. It's that simple. If 75% of your body is filled with negative antioxidants, that deterioration is going to be slowed down. Again, lift of a lever, twist of a knob, right at your counter, you have antioxidizing water, or come in here, get your 2 weeks free, make sure you get right in the store, and we're going to give it to you so it's active. You take it home, so you have an active form of antioxidants every single day. It's very simple. I don't want to go through too many things there. Antioxidants are also anti-inflammatory. We're going to do these events all the time, so hopefully you get on our mailing list so that you know when we're doing them. One of these times we're going to do an event specifically on inflammation, how antioxidants and alkalizing water is an anti-inflammatory. Tonight we're not going to hit that. We're going to go right to the alkalizing, and I'm going to actually do you a visual so that you can see the difference between alkaline water and waters that are not alkaline or acidic. The opposite of alkaline would be acidic. All waters are measured from 0 to 14. 0 would be extremely acidic, 14 would be extremely alkaline, and all of the waters that you consume, every liquid that you consume is going to fall somewhere in that list. So as you can see here, 7 is neutral, 0 acidic, 14 is alkaline. At 0, it's not alkalizing, it's not acidic, it's just right in the middle. It's not necessarily doing anything to change the pH of the body, good or bad. The higher up this chart, the higher, more purple, it becomes more alkaline, more alkalizing. The lower it goes down here, the more acidic. So we use what are called pH drops. It's standard in the industry for anybody that is in anything to do with alkaline versus acidic liquids. They use drops, and as we put them in here, you're going to see a change in color to match a chart that you see up there on top. I'm going to wait for that one for just 1 second. So let's start with some of our more common waters, like your Sam's Club or your Dasani. And as you can see here, hopefully you can see on camera there, we've got not even neutral, it's acidic. It's down here at about a 6. So even Dasani water might be perfectly purified, might be clean, 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 but I'm showing you it is acidic. Same with your Sam's Club. Same with almost all bottled waters are going to be right here in this range, around a 5.5 to a 6, not even neutral. What we're supposed to be consuming is an alkaline. We should be drinking something that is very alkaline, purple. Sports drinks, that's even worse. We're down here at about a 3.5 or a 4. Carbonated drinks, no surprise, carbonic acid, very acidic, it's down here. So if you're filling your body with any of these bottled waters, tap waters, or anything else, you are going to be more acidic. What we want, same drops, we want something that is very alkaline, or in our case, alkalizing. It's not neutral, it's all the way up here in this range right here. What I just ran here is a 9.5, so 9.5 pH is what we want to have the body start changing the pH of our tissue sites. Now, don't get me wrong, we're not trying to change the pH of our blood. Absolutely not. We couldn't if we wanted to, but no, we're not changing. The blood pH needs to stay at right in there at 3.7, 3.6, right in that area. We're changing the pH of our tissue. Without exception, alkaline tissue has a hard time spreading or allowing the proliferation of disease, mainly cancer. Acidic tissue, cancer spreads very quickly, or disease, more pointedly, cancer. I believe that that's the reason we're seeing more and more and more cancer and disease in America and around the world today, is because we're filling ourselves up with with acidic waters. Let me show you how easy we can change that. It doesn't take much at all. I hope you're able to see it on the camera. It doesn't take much at all. I've changed these from acidic to alkaline just by adding a good active form of 9.5. Let me show you how acidic sports drinks are. I can't even get it to become close to alkaline. It takes approximately 32, depending on the acidity, depending on the drink, whether sports drinks or carbonated drinks, but around 32 equal parts of 9.5 to neutralize. So if you're going to drink a soda, you've got to drink 32 equal quantities of this soda just to neutralize, 32 equal quantities of alkalizing water just to neutralize it. Now you may be saying, well, that, it can't be really that strong, that acidic, that quick. And these are just small drops. I mean, it's not even a swallow. Some of you may be saying, well, yeah, but those were already acidic. So let's go to something that was completely alkaline and alkalizing, and watch how damaging that is. That's how much it takes. Folks, carbonated drinks, sports drinks, bottled waters, filtered waters, reverse osmosis water, distilled waters, all of those, let's say they are clean and pure. But if they're acidic, they're causing the body to increase its risk of disease, illness, and sickness. It's that simple. It really is not hard to figure that out. And you don't have to take my word for it. There's data, there's research, there's doctor after doctor after doctor, there's peer-reviewed journals that show alkaline or alkalizing tissue, forms of water that change the tissue pH can in fact improve your chances of improved health. And that's why we get testimonials all the time from people like Jeff and many others that are saying, man, as soon as I provided my body with the tools, all of a sudden I didn't need all of those drugs and other things that are so often used to mask our symptoms. I travel and speak all around the world, and one of the things that I often say is, if we do the same things today that we did yesterday, we're going to have the same problems tomorrow that we have today. If you've got issues today, you can't keep doing the same things that you've been doing and expect a different result. Make some changes. Come down here to the store. Let us give you some information. Let us give you 2 weeks free of all the alkalizing water you want. That's our commitment to you. So after 2 weeks, you get to make a decision. Did I notice a difference or did I not? You will absolutely notice a difference. So when we look at some of these pHs of some of these drinks, battery acid is 1.0. Obviously, none of us would drink battery acid because it's too acidic. It'd burn a hole right in us, right? Well, stomach acid is 2.0. We know the stomach acid is that damaging. None of you would drink a cup of stomach acid because we know how acidic it is. But guess what? Sports drinks are right behind it at 2.4. I just showed you how some of these sports drinks are almost as acidic as the acid in your stomach, but yet we drink this all day long without even thinking, what damage is it causing to us? Carbonated drinks are even worse. Carbonated drinks, most of your sodas, or I'm sorry, not necessarily worse. Sports drinks are even more so acidic, but your sodas and things like that are acidic. They are going to change the pH of your tissue sites, which make it more acidic, which increases the risk of disease. It's that simple. Does that mean every person that drinks this is going to have cancer? No. But if it increases your risk of those diseases, that's a pretty big risk, in my opinion, when you have something that can so easily reduce those risks. We'll go back to that real quick. Ionized alkalizing, that needs to be changed. Alkalizing water, 9.5. This is what we should be drinking every single day. It comes, again, right out of a technology. Nothing is added to the water. We run it through a filter. The filter right here filters out the bad stuff, any of the impurities, any of the bacteria. 7 plates of titanium and platinum. Electricity runs through it and creates an energy, which is the same energy that lightning has created in the waters, in the mountains that have come off the mountains for years. And that's why they say spring water and mountain fresh water and things like that, because it's full of that energy and stuff that our body needs to recover and improve our chances of good health. We keep going here. So that's the technology. We don't necessarily want to, we're not talking a whole lot about the technology right now. We want everybody to have access to saying, let's try it for 2 weeks. We want you to experience 2 weeks of a change that we know, then we can start talking about, do we want to get into technology? Do we want to join a water club where we come in and get water every single day for the next month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, whatever it is? We want to create a program for what fits you and your budget. So come down and check out the 2-week trial. Last one's microclustering. That's the last thing I want to talk about. Now, why is that important? First of all, we talked about antioxidants. We all know antioxidants are vitally important. The more we can get, the better off we are. You're not going to get more antioxidants than from a -600 because of the ionization process than you're going to get from our technology here. You're also, we talked about alkalizing versus alkaline. The difference, very simple. Alkaline water is a water that has minerals added to it. So I could literally go to our toilet, get some water, add some minerals, and have alkaline water that fast and sell it in the stores as alkaline water like so many companies do. Alkaline water and alkalizing water are 2 different things. Alkaline is a noun. Alkalizing is an action. It's a verb. It's going to change something. It's going to create a change. And that's what we need. You can't keep doing the same thing today that you did yesterday and expect a different result tomorrow than you're getting today. So the microclustering is the last part that I want to show you real quickly. And I'm going to show you that through using a tea bag. For any of you that have ever made tea, you know that basically we can't make tea with cold water. Cold water does not necessarily make tea, especially from these instant tea bags. We have to use what kind of water? Hot water. And then not only do we use hot water, what do you put over the top of it? A lid or something. And why do we do that? We call it steeping. Why do we do that? Anybody ever thought about that? What does it hold in? The steam. Okay, what is steam? Steam is small particles of water that are small enough to actually float, if you will, for the sake of discussion, and that's what we hold in there. We hold in small molecules of water because those small molecules of water are able to penetrate through, extracting the tannins and the flavors and the herbs and all those different kind of things that we need for tea. So with that being said, we know that we can't make, let's use any of our bottled waters here. We know that we can't make tea with bottled water or tap water. And as hopefully you can see on camera here, we're just not changing the color of that very much, and it's going to take hours and hours to get enough tea to actually have a flavor. I'm telling you, if your water is small or micro clustered, it's very easy to make tea with cold water. Now you may be saying, well, of course, you got it wet over there and now you're putting it in here, so that makes sense. Let's come right back to our bottled water. And you'll see again, we're right back to not being able to extract that. Not because the water's bad, not because it's not clean, but because it is large clusters as opposed to what we refer to as a micro clustering. The ionization process, the electrical process, takes the clusters of water, the water molecules that cluster together. Through electricity, we're able to separate those molecules, so we truly have micro clumping of the water. I use the analogy of if you have a chain link fence and you have a bunch of BBs and you throw those BBs against that chain link fence, most of it's going to make it through. But now if you take those BBs and you glue 50 or 60 or 70 of them together and you throw it against the fence, not as many are going to make it through because we have these clusters that are larger. I have an absolute testament of microclustering because of the professional athletes that I work with. So many of the professional athletes say to this day that they're able to drink microclustered, alkalizing, antioxidant rich Kangen water all the way up to and through game time. As opposed to other times, I remember growing up, we always would have to stop about 30 minutes before game time because that water would sit in the stomach and you feel it sloshing around. The absorption rate of microclustered water at the tissue site is significantly higher. So we have a higher rate of actual hydration. Those are just three things that make our Kangen water, our technology, so unique. And with increased hydration, increased antioxidant, increased alkalinization in our body, you give the tools it needs, like Jeff has recognized and so many other people around the world, that those are three of the primary factors needed to improve and allow our body to improve its ability to find true health and well-being. To enhance and enrich that quality of life. Again, guys, that's what our goal is as a family, as a store, and we want to make sure that's available to anybody and everybody. So we hope that you continue to invite people as we do these events. We hope that all of you that are logging on find a way to get down here, get information, get your water for free. We want you to experience the change that it can provide for you, so you get to see some of those benefits that so many people just don't know. This information that you're hearing, I hope that many of you are saying, I just didn't know this. It's simple, but yet it's based on science and it's based on history. It's based on nature. So we hope you get down here and you get to be part of us trying to reach our goal, which again is to enhance and enrich that quality of life for millions of people around the world by providing the products, the services, and this type of education to allow people to live that alkaline lifestyle. I believe that our technology, or choosing to drink an alkalizing, antioxidant-rich form of water, is the single most effective way to improve one's overall health. More so even than my own nutritional products. Again, I own a nutrition company. I think I got the greatest products in the world, but if someone said, okay, I can drink alkalizing water or I can take your nutritional supplements, I can't do both, what should I do? I will tell you every time, the largest component of your body is water. Change your water to an alkalizing form, and it is the most effective way to improve your quality of life. It's that simple. With that said, guys, I hope that each of you have enjoyed tonight. I hope that you've learned something. I hope you're able to take something away from here, and I hope that it spurred some questions. In no way do we want to just say that we have all the answers and just follow us. We hope we spur questions that allow you to ask those questions. Call us. Again, we'll make sure, Cayman, make sure that all of our information is in the log down below. Contact information, come into the store, meet us, meet Jeff, meet Cayman, the rest of the group. All of you that are here in person tonight, we thank you so much for coming and being part of this. Jeff, thank you for your story, man. I really appreciate it. We're going to be doing these events probably weekly or bi-weekly, so make sure you get all of our information so you can stay up to date with what we're doing. We'll go ahead and close it out there, but I thank you all for being part of our family and helping us come closer to fulfill our mission, and that is providing a community center for people to learn and get the information and the products that they need to truly have a more healthful life. So thank you all so much for coming, both physically. Thank you for logging in, y'all. Good night. God bless, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Well, you can leave that on if you want. Are there any questions from anybody here that we want to answer real quickly?
Are you gonna do are you gonna do different kind of talks every time?
We are.
Different?
Yep. We'll do the tomatoes sometimes. Yeah. Do the 11.5. I really want to do. I want to do the top.
It's different. Last, it's nice. We changed it up.
Yeah, exactly. We want to do what you guys want to hear. So I know we've got some requests for inflammation. Inflammation is a debilitating challenge, and it can be caused from so many different things. But there's one thing in common with all inflammation. Every single case of inflammation, there is acidity involved. Always, without question. You change that acidity to an alkaline, documentation shows we can reduce that inflammation without question. So that's one of our next presentations that we'll be doing, because inflammation is truly debilitating, and it comes with a lot of challenge. So many of those. We'll talk a lot about gut health. We'll talk a lot about digestion. We'll talk about all of that stuff. So if there are certain things you guys want to hear more about, be sure and talk with Cayman or Jeff. We'll make that one of the topics in coming up. And those of you that are online, if you've got ideas or you want topics, go ahead and they can message, right, Cayman, on there?
Yeah, I put all the content information, so whatever.
Okay, so yeah, just let us know. We can do a topic on it. And all of these that we do, they'll always be left available online too, so people can go back and watch them or send them to friends or family members or whatever else. So, any other questions, comments? Yeah.
So the machine is an alkalizing machine. So once it goes through the machine, it becomes alkaline water.
Correct. Yep. Just to make it fairly simple, it hooks right up at the tap. Okay. Tap water comes through, filters it first, so we have a filter in there, and then these plates of titanium are what make it unique. Okay. Electricity must be infused, if you will, to create an active form of hydrogen. In the mountains, as I said earlier, that's done through lightning and energy and things like that, mainly from the lightning. We do that same thing here with the plates of titanium. There are other machines out there that do the same type of thing, but they'll use mesh plates and softer metals. So their life expectancy is usually a year, 2 years, 3 years. Ours, with titanium and platinum, you got a 25-year life expectancy. We've had ours for, what are we going on, babe? 14 years, 15 years, I don't know, however long it's been. So, and we still have our antioxidants, our ORP is still up there as high as it was when we first got them.
So you said you can take water from the toilet and put stuff in it to make it alkaline water. So that's the difference, is it's not activated, so that activates whatever is in the water.
Yes, yeah, that's the simple way of explaining it. There are certain minerals, mainly calcium, sodium, potassium. Those minerals are alkaline minerals. So you can take any water, add those minerals, and then you test and you have alkaline water. Those minerals, though, are not going to change the pH of the body because there's so minimal amounts in there, as opposed to an alkalizing or an active form of alkaline, and that you can only get with the presence of electricity and metals. The metals we use, rather than small tiny forms in added, microform added, the metals we use are in the form of platinum and titanium. Because that's what the metal is for. The metal is not there to do anything other than conduct that electricity.
And it stays good, like the whole, alkalizing benefits. Like, I mean, if you took a glass of water and you just let it hang out for a couple of days, is it gonna get, it's gonna slowly decrease after how many, it's like 48 hours?
Yeah, if you use an alkaline water, I mean, just by minerals,
Yeah.
you can set that out and it's gonna stay alkaline, stay alkaline, stay alkaline for however long you set it out. Ours, I think this is what you're getting at, because of that active form of hydrogen electricity, it's only good for about 48 hours at 9.5. It's gonna start to deteriorate slowly. Yeah, so even if you do it 3 days later and instead of 9.5, it's 8,
Okay.
it's still way better than neutral.
For about 2 to 3 days.
Yes, yep, completely active, yeah. But that is the reason why we don't sell bottled water, because it's not fair to someone to sell them ours is 9.5, because truthfully, if we sell it in a bottled form, it's probably been bottled before, weeks, months, years, who knows, most of the waters that are sitting on the shelves. We want people to have access to this, that they get to drink it within a day, 2 days max. That's where you're gonna get your true benefits from. Kim?
Someone of mine is asking how quick they should notice a difference, whether it's that day, weeks, whatever.
Question was, how fast should we notice a difference? I know this sounds like a patent answer or an escape answer, but the reality is we have had people that literally have stood here and came and you experienced it, and they have an autoimmune disease. They were here for probably 30, 45 minutes, and within that period of time said they're definitely noticing a difference. Now, they didn't necessarily say I'm feeling better. They started noticing a difference. It happens to be someone that has now noticed a significant difference in a short period. We also have people, though, that say, I've been drinking it 2 weeks. I think I feel better. I'm not really sure. I'm not going to keep going. And then 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, a week, 2 weeks later, they come in and they say, I didn't recognize the difference. Now I really feel it because I haven't had it for 2 weeks. So I hate to say it.
Like everything's different.
Everybody is different. And I just hate that answer, but that really is the case. Shandy?
Somebody, I don't really know how to answer this question, so maybe you can, but somebody had watched the time out and then they were like curious about the antioxidants and this and that, and in the demo they had referred to an antioxidant as like anti-aging. So how they understood it was that basically it slows down that aging process, or like the deterioration process inside of your body. I know that there is a water that you can get from the machine that is for like skincare and that, but drinking antioxidizing water, just drinking it alone, does that like prevent aging like externally as well, like skincare and?
Yeah.
Is that noticeable?
Great question. To simplify the question, by drinking antioxidizing water, can that also help with skin and things like that? Is that possible? Absolutely it is. Antioxidants are utilized, and they're all different. There are things like SOD, which is superoxide dismutase, which is one subset of antioxidants. There are other subsets of antioxidants. Most of the antioxidants are stored I shouldn't say most, many of the antioxidants are stored in the collagen tissue. If we can build up that collagen tissue with good antioxidants, which is that storage spot, collagen is that tissue just below the skin surface that gives us that supple, healthful look. So yes, drinking antioxidant-rich water does in fact help with skin care, does in fact help with acne, and you can use it externally as well, as you were saying. There's a setting on here that you would get a different pH of water that you would use to clean your face and things like that. So there are many different aspects to the technology. Just the largest one is the drinking of it. Jeff?
So specifically speaking about like athletes, we talk about it a lot, and on the other end of the spectrum, the people that aren't typically well, they talk about detox all the time. Can you tell us a little bit more about how the detox works with this? Because that's a heavy goal for most people that are fighting illness, is how do we detox, especially the medications.
Very simple. Question was, for those of you online, talk a little bit about how detoxification takes place and how our water can be used as a detox. It's very simple when you look at the physiology of the body. A detoxification is to take the fluid, the toxic fluid in a cell or a clump of cells or tissue cells, and move that out or detoxify the stuff that's inside of it, okay? So what people don't realize is that moving of this water or of this stuff outside of this cell requires a pushing of water into it. So nothing sucks this out, it's only pushing into the cell to extract it out the backside. The only way that can take place is to increase hydration within that cell. The smaller we can make the molecules, the clumping of those molecules, the higher absorption into that cell, which increases detoxification or the pushing out of there. Okay, so I like to look at it like a sponge. You're not really gonna, well, I guess you could suck it out this side, but the best way of getting the water out of that sponge is forcing water into it from this side. And the more water you're pushing or pressing into there, the water that is in there is going to come out this other side. So the more micro clustering of any water, whether it's our waters or someone else's, the better your detoxing process will take place. And so quite honestly, that's why we do get a lot of people that detox early on in the process. They'll start drinking the water and a day later saying, you know, man, I got a headache. It's not debilitating, but I got a headache, or I broke out, my back broke out, you know, my face broke out a little bit. A lot of that is a natural detoxification process that's from nothing, no chemical, nothing else, simply microclustering, pressing more water into that cell to get the junk out. That makes sense. And most of those cells are full of things that they hold on to, like most medications. You notice how most of the time when you take a medication or medications, one of the first things that happen is constipation. A lot of that is because those drugs cause those cells to hold on to a lot of that water. Therefore, it's not utilized in the stools to move stuff on through. So when we are unfortunately having to take drugs or medications, a lot of times most of that stuff is held in those cells for days, weeks, months, years, until we forcibly push it out through a detoxification process. So microclustered water, Kangen water, truthfully to me, is the easiest, most effective, healthful way of going through any detox, whether it's alcohol detox, drug detox, or just unhealthy living detox. Yes, ma'am.
So does that speak to heavy metals too? One of my curriculum teachers has talked a lot about drinking distilled water because it will attach to those heavy metals and pull them out. Is that microclustering? You're doing the same thing with the heavy metals?
Great question. Question was, does that hold true for heavy metals as well? And as much as I would love to say yes, on that one I have to say no. It does help that detoxification, but not to a point of saying our water is a good detox for heavy metals. It just isn't. For whatever reason, those heavy metals are a lot harder to push on through those cells than just the other toxins. So no, I would not say we'd use that for a heavy metal detox. It would be used in conjunction with maybe a heavy metal detox. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Is it better to leave the water like room temperature or have it cold?
Does not matter. Question was room temperature or have it cold, doesn't matter. anything, once you start getting above about 80, 85, 90 degrees, once it gets hot, then there is some deterioration. You can't boil it and things like that, but you can freeze it. You can freeze it, and then even if it melts back down, we still have that high pH, so you can use it to make ice and things like that. But as far as room temperature versus cold, whatever your preference is. All right, guys, if nothing else, then we'll go ahead and close it there. Thanks again for signing on. We hope to hear from you soon. Thank you guys all for coming, and we'll see you next week or the week after or sometime soon, or sooner if you want, or later if you want. Basically, it's up to you, whatever you want to do.
How's it for one?
Enjoyed it.
Yeah. Pretty good here.
Yeah.